because you talk about defining moments when I lost everything. I mean, lost everything. And my daughter, she's actually insurance licensed now. Um, so wrote her first app last week. Um,
That's so cool.
she came to me after we lost everything. So I lost my job in November. In April, I was out of my house. I mean, it was I got involved in one of those illegal foreclosures, and it was a mess. But she came to me one day. We're living at my mom's. Keep in mind, I was living on a golf course, 17th hole, and beautiful house. Thought I'd never leave there. Never had intentions of leaving there. And my daughter came to me and she said, Dad, when can we move back into our old house?
Mm.
Ooh, and it was like a dagger to that I felt as a father, as a ooh. I
Hmm.
made a decision that day that I would never let anybody control my destiny again.
Mm.
And there was days that I was on the road and I'd think about that. I'm like, I can't do it. And I would just say, I can't go to the hotel, or I can't go back to the office until I write an app. And that was kind of a goal in the beginning, is I got to get an app every day, every day. I get an app every day. It's 20 apps a month. Within 2 years, I'm great. Right. But that defining moment, my family is everything. It's what I fight for each and every day. I mean, I've got a
Yeah.
21-year-old now and a 6-year-old. And then I've had the support of my wife that, I mean, she was a single mom for those years I was on the road. I mean,
Mm.
I sacrificed birthdays. I sacrificed
Wow.
being home for the parties. I mean, I was on the road.
How long you been married?
22 years.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. I love it. What do you think's been, if you, after we look back on, like, and thank you for sharing that, by the way. I know how much they mean to you. You can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. Um, and you guys listening, by the way, I'm gonna pivot for a second before asking the question to Ty. Man, this is like, you can tell this dude cares a ton. He's been knocked down a bunch of it in his life. He was tired of getting knocked down. Dude committed, has built something special, is helping a lot of people. And so if you're ever out there and you're like, dude, I would love to get into building a residual income that, you know what I mean, that actually grows and that can't be taken away and I control, right? Um, you need to text this dude, man. You have to. Okay. 385-800-1956. Ty, what would you say has been the secrets, some of the top secrets to your success over these last, I mean, the last how many years have you really been busting it and trying to build something with, when you really started selling every day and recruiting and all that? How many years has that been?
So I've been in the industry 13 and a half years. I have a personal book of probably 850 clients.
Okay.
So I still service. I mean, I started out as an agent, right? So I have 22 managers. I have, 800, over close to 800 agents. And some of the keys I would say is finding the right partner. Okay.
Mm,
And whether you go captive or non-captive, insurance, or even just as a entrepreneur, find that right niche that you want. If you want to go wash windows for a living, go wash windows for a living, right? But I found my path in insurance. So finding the right mentor, they're going to help you get from point A to point B a lot quicker. In a lot of cases, they've experienced what you may go through and circumvent that system. I mean, I've been able to help agents get a six-figure income in less than a year because of what I went through. I mean, I've done it all. I've tried it all. So finding the right mentor. The second thing is that we talked about it earlier, is a dream board. I think is very crucial. And then another one, I mean, I could go on for days, but the other one, so dream board, and then the support of a spouse, whoever's at home. And here's what happens when you come home, and if you're trying to build something, because the industry I'm in, you don't make any money until you close that transaction. And if you come home and say, hey, honey, I didn't sell anything today, eventually that negativity is going to rub off on that spouse or that partner. And they're going to tell you what? Go get a real
mm-hmm,
job.
mm-hmm.
And some of the people that are closest to us give us the most negative feedback. Think about that for a minute. Your closest allies, your family, your friends, They're like, you can't do it. You're not going to be successful. And I had the mindset, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to prove them wrong. I mean, I have uh, 8 sisters and 2 brothers, and I got a brother that now works for me. So he worked for Liberty Mutual for 26 years and had a forced buyout. And I've been talking to him for years to get in the insurance business on the Medicare side, and he got a forced buyout. He's like, Ty, this is the best thing ever. He's like, I feel like I'm making an impact. I'm making a difference. So you have to have that support at home. And remember, there's only 3 types of days in any industry. There's days setting up appointments. There's days doing presentations, and there's days closing. There's no other type of day. There's no bad days. So if you do one of those things every single day, you're gonna see results.
True. 100%. Yeah. I love that. And there's so many agents that end up thinking about all those other pieces and they don't actually put in the work. Like if they see people, they make it, they don't, I mean, it's pretty, it ain't rocket science, I mean, you don't even need applied science or industrial design to figure it out,
Yeah.
which means you're also a really smart dude, by the way. I did not allude to that, but like I can't even pronounce the words, I mean, come on. Man, I'm liking hanging out with you, bro. Like I'm enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And dude, you're phenomenal at sharing your story and like speaking. And you're one of the better interviews I've ever had. Like I really mean that. This is awesome. This is cool. What have we not shared about you and what you're doing that you would like to share?
The law of abundance. I know that I'm a man of faith. Yeah, I think later on when we talk on May 15th, I think it's coming up, I'll talk maybe a little bit more about that. But I believe the law of abundance, and where much is given, much is required. And being in the industry that I'm in, it allows me to do a lot in the community. I mean, I coach youth football sport. I coach youth sports, whether it's lacrosse, wrestling, football. But those kids, our kids, the people that we're raising, they need that. And it allows me to do those things because I have the resources. I mean, I'm not working a 9-to-5 job where I'm sitting there sacrificing those things just to make a paycheck. And so it allows me to serve and give back. And with the law of abundance is the universe is very large. And I am convinced that whatever you project or put out there, it will come back to you 100-fold.
I agree, by the way. It's clearly came back to you,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can for others. What would you say to someone that's like, man, because I personally believe there's over 500,000 agents right now that are unhappy, dissatisfied, alone. They're not receiving the mentorship and help, and they don't know where they're going. And they're like so freaking close. They're teetering on just throwing in the towel, tapping out, and leaving the industry like so many people do. What advice would you give to those that are like thinking about it?
Don't ever give up. And there are, let's say you're not getting let's say you're not getting help, right? And I can relate this to, there are contract shops out there. They'll give you a contract. They'll give you the same contract I'm going to give you. But if you want the support, partner with people that will actually support you. I don't get paid to recruit, and I get paid when an agent writes business. I have to hit my commitment numbers because of the commitment I made to take those contract levels. I have to. It's not even there's no question. I have to do that. And that's why I'm constantly recruiting. And it's a double-edged sword because, I look at, been in the industry 13 and a half years. My top producers that were top producers, let's say 8 years in, from years 1 to 8, after they get to 9, 10, and 11, and 13 and 14, they're not working like they used to. And I get my new agents that are trying to figure it out, maybe my 1 to 3, and there's some that hit the ground running and go and write 400 or 500 applications in a couple of years. But the sweet spot for me is that 3 to 8 years is where a majority of my production comes from, because they're figuring it out. So they don't give up, number one. Number two is you don't need to know everything before you get started.
Mm.
That, I mean, I hear people say, well, I don't know the product and I don't know this and I don't know how to. Guys, you know 90% more than you know 90% more than everyone else out there. And I don't know how many presentations that I did reading the summary of benefits with the consumer. Or when I said, hey, you know what? I don't know. Let me do some research and come back to you. Because my initial mindset was I have to sell an app a day. I have to. I mean, I got a family at home. I'm on the road. I've invested thousands of dollars to get here. I got to make this work. My back was up against the wall. And I'm like, right. My wife's like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Okay. I'm like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? I go back and get a job.
True.
That's the worst thing that happens.
That's good. Dude, that's so good. I love that, because a couple things I share a lot of is, if you don't quit, you can't fail, right? You said don't give up. Same thing. And then I love to also talk about how everybody's always got analysis paralysis. They want to know everything before they do anything. And you don't have to know it all. Like, it's actually, I guarantee you, when Ty's training people, like I'm starting to really believe that the more I train someone initially, the worse they will do, because I'll just fill their head with so much crap that they don't need yet. And then it like paralyzes them from actually taking action and doing something.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, we talk about insurance. There's compliance, right? You hold the professional license. There's requirements. And if you can't learn to adapt, if you can't learn, right now there's a lot of noise in the Medicare space. And I want to tell agents, listen, if you can adapt, sell your book and move on. I mean, you're just hurting yourself. But if you can adapt, which I've done, you know, all the changes every year, there's changes. The whole idea is that if you have a professional license, they hold you more accountable. So you chose to get in this industry, or maybe you didn't, but if you chose to get in this industry, then make sure that you learn how to adapt and be compliant. End of story.
Yeah. Amen. Freaking strong, dude. I love it, man. I'm having a blast with you. I appreciate you being on. We'll add some, close us out, add some final words for the audience that's listening today. And then please throw your cell number out for them to text you again.
Yes, sir. You're going to leave some final words? Or you want me to leave some final words?
You do it. You've done such an elegant job today. You do it this time.
You know, I am not for everybody, but the ones that I am, you can talk to hundreds of my agents and what we've been able to do, and they are my champions. They know where I've come from. They know where they've come from. They know what this industry does. They know maybe not even this industry, but they know the principles that it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur with whatever business venture you're going to start. So go back to action, no paralysis, right? And you want to make more money, shake more hands. Mm-hmm. Tell people who you are and what you do. Have that elevator speech. You know, with Brady Insurance Marketing, we have 3 different legs or stools, right? One of them is direct to consumer. I'm trying to generate leads, lead generation. Then the other component is recruiting and training. So the whole idea is I'm able to duplicate myself, and they can then in turn duplicate themselves, and they leave a lasting legacy for them and their families.
That's right.
And with all of you that, if you want to talk, just shoot me a text. I will get back with you. I promise you, I will get back with you. It is 1-385-800-1956. I will talk to you as much or as little as you want. And if you don't want to talk to me, that's great. You know, I get it. I'm not for everybody, but the people that have partnered with me and worked with me, we've been able to do tremendous things.
Yeah, you definitely have. Ty, you've been incredible. Thank you for being on the podcast. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Ty Brady.